Well, you said it quickly and kept your promise.
And it's not Tracy's fault. I keep baiting her, and then we go back and forth for a little while. So blame me, everybody.
And Tracy, I did blame you. And
Okay,
Tracy.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay. Anyway, next subject for everybody keeps saying, if you just keep talking, then we would have been on. The next subject, I had to investigate this a little more because it was confusing. So I'm gonna play the video, and if anybody's confused about the ruling against the ruling for, I should say, the ruling for the website designer, I think I understand what they're saying. It's still BS, but I think I understand what they're saying.
Let me bring in Kelly O'Donnell, our senior White House correspondent, into this conversation. When you talk about, of course, the political ramifications of not just this decision standing on its own, but in light of the decision, the watershed decision yesterday on affirmative action, Kelly.
Well, certainly I would expect from the White House they will note today's date, June 30th, the final day of Pride Month, and that this decision coming at that time is particularly painful to the LGBTQ community because of what the concerns are about how this could be employed in other states, how it could be interpreted, and at a time when support for gay marriage is at the highest that it has been, a ruling like this brings about a lot of concern about how this will impact the everyday lives of gay Americans. Tapping into your conversation with Laura, I was in the courtroom for the oral arguments last fall for this case, and one of the things that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson talked about is if we're talking about the creative expression of the person who does not want to provide this service. She gave the example of those sort of old style photographs where people are in costumes. And she said, what if the person who was the photographer, the artist there, wanted it to only be white people in that photo when they're wearing costumes like the sort of the old Wild West or something like that? Could you sell that? And Justice Thomas was talking about the fact that this is about public accommodation. It's different than a hotel where you must serve all people, can't discriminate against anyone based on their status, or a restaurant. And that distinction you've been talking about, what is the creative message behind this website that Lori Smith wants to be able to provide? And how will that be different? And a lot of discussion about, is a save the date message on a website the property of the couple getting married, or is it somehow a creative expression of the person doing it? And Justice Sotomayor writes that this is discrimination based on message, not status. So there are a lot of concerns about what this will mean for larger implications. And so often with a case like this, it's looking at very specific circumstances, the free speech argument, the artist involved, dealing with what is public accommodation under our laws. But the implications are so much broader and certainly will be perceived by many Americans who won't know the specifics of what was argued in this case and what really brought about this clear ruling from the court 6-3. We would expect that the White House would want to comment about this and to try to find other ways to be supportive of the LGBTQ community. And certainly when it comes to the issue of free expression, First Amendment rights are among the most sacred, and certainly we got that impression listening to the arguments in court, and at the same time trying to make certain that there is no discrimination against persons who are different in any way or are in a minority status. So this case will have long implications, Savannah.
So here is my understanding of it, because that was a big. I wanted to play the video because we do have people who want great detail, and then we have one people that go, "Can you put your answer into like 30 words or less?" So I'm gonna do the 30 words or less thing. The whole mentality of it was the website. A gay couple wanted a website designer to do a website for them. I'm sorry, you shaking your head?
No, I was just saying because there was no gay couple in this scenario. It was purely a hypothetical.
Oh,
She ain't built no websites for anybody. This was all in preparation of the eventuality that. So basically, not to override what you're saying, but I was just saying there's no.
Oh, you're literally going to have to override it because I thought this crap happened.
Yeah. No, there's no damages here. So there's an outside right conservative think tank that is trying to get the right cases in front of a sympathetic Supreme Court. So this is one of the ones they manufactured. So this is a lady that they found that they put forward to say, I want to design websites, but I can't because if I go into business, you'll force me to do this. So it's all if, then, what if, right? So that's not normally how the Supreme Court works. Supreme Court, in order for it to get to them, there's real damages. Someone has to have real standing. But the Supreme Court has the ability to pick and choose what they listen to. So this was purely off of a hypothetical, and it works in tandem with another hypothetical, which was how something was going on with the education piece, where they found some students manufactured a case for them to. That's how you got a lot of issues with the 14th Amendment protections and all these other things that are being pushed against right now. So we're literally dealing with artificial constructs. It's wild.
So let me. Boy. Good gracious!
Can I move to
Thank
Cuba?
you so damn
Who's
much
gonna
for
buy my
wasting.
house so I can move to Cuba? Who? Where they at?
And, okay, let me go ahead and get this out of my system because now you just done pissed me off. Because I don't like my time wasted, man. Stop wasting. Do not waste my time. So the whole concept of it is a restaurant cannot discriminate against minorities. A department store, blah blah blah, everything else. This ruling only goes into effect if it is a creator
or a private contractor
because of the artistic piece.
Yeah, you are a creator of a website. You are a creator, wink, wink, of a cake. You can make the decision as a creator who you do and do not want to work with. Now, here's the deal. I don't see a damn difference. And I'm sorry, I work in a industry where that decisions have always been made, and they never flat out said because you're gay, because you're black, because you're a woman, because you're 4'11". They always come up with another reason.
Yep.
But you kind of know what the reason is.
Right. That's what this is about, Marlon. Yeah. Because what they're saying is they want to be able to be clear as to why they don't want to do something, right? So the current public accommodations, here's one of my gripes. We had to fight for public accommodations. We had to fight for the right to marry. We had to fight for the right for voting. Everybody profits and benefits off of our struggle more than even we do.
Thank you.
14th Amendment was put in place for us to be able to have our rights so that we could go to school and not be discriminated against. But it's being used by other groups against us, right? So that annoys me, and I know it's a separate topic, but it just really bothers me. But in this particular case, yeah, they want the ability to openly discriminate, but they want it so that you can't call it discrimination.
Yep.
We want it to be our choice.
Yeah.
And that's where they are.
Yeah. I just got one question for these right-wing groups. What happens in their little theory if you go to a place and they practice Islam and they say, you know what, we don't want to serve Christians? What are they going to do then? Are they going to bring another court case to overlap that one?
They will claim persecution of being a Christian because they already make up that. Even though Christians are not persecuted anywhere in the West, they may be a little bit in some Muslim countries, but they're not persecuted in the least bit in America. No. But that's what they would do. They would pretend that they're being persecuted.
They have a way of I don't like. They would take I don't like Christians as we're persecuting them. We ain't laid a hand on them. We ain't took you to court. We ain't burned down your house. We ain't burn a cross in your yard. We done nothing. Excuse me. We haven't done nothing to you. But the fact that the I came out of my mouth and said, I'm an atheist, or I just don't like your religion. Clutch pearls.
No,
You're a prophet. Oh my God.
No, I gotta disagree with you because in their minds, they're okay with discriminating against other religions. They're perfectly fine with restricting other religions. You just better not restrict theirs.
No, that's
exactly.
No, that's it. Remember, even though it has been documented that this country was not founded on Christianity.
And people will say that, and then
they will still say this country was founded on Christianity. We got an idiot running around here talking about that Jesus was in the United States this whole time. Hey, your fetus may be in Jesus. All the arguments they have used. So yeah, you can't say nothing against them. If you say something against them, they're getting prosecuted.
Yeah, they're okay with money going to religious schools as long as it's their religion. They're okay.
Right. Because this is nothing, none of this is about Christianity.
No.
None of it is.
None of this has anything to do with Christianity. This has nothing to do with religion. All of this is power.
It doesn't even have anything to do with religion. It's a power structure.
Yeah,
they can
power.
tell you
it's power. Women, it's power and control. They're using Christianity, the most popular religion in this country, for that. So how do you keep your power and control? Is you keep other religions from getting to your level of power and control. So yes, I'm going to say that you prosecuting me because you're taking money out of my bank, because people may open their eyes and see that our religion may not be the right religion. So I will prosecute you as much as I possibly can. And I do mean that wholeheartedly. The whole cuss you out, burn your house, burn the cross in your yard thing. I literally mean prosecute. Trust me. But don't you dare say nothing about our religion.
You can't even have oh, sorry. Go ahead, Theus.
No, go ahead, Tracy, please.
I was going to say, you can't even, and this is what frustrates me. I can't even have a basic general conversation with the average Christian about separation of church and state. They say, oh, it doesn't exist. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It absolutely does. It's like, what are you listening to? Well, such and such said, no, such and such. No, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Compel and convict and condemn are two, they're separate. And I wish we would get the difference. I wish we would understand what the difference is and give people the freedom, because that's what they have. If you want to live in a theocracy, that's what they call it. Go live in Iran or Iraq or one of them. Stop that. We live in a multi-theistic country where we practice many religions. If you don't like it, guess what you can do? You can do just what you've been telling me. Leave. That's what you've been telling me. Or I should go to Africa. Back to Africa. Like, okay, which country? And I'm going to leave that alone.
Well, I love what you just said, Tracy. You're 100% dead on, and I agree with you. You know, it's all about the power thing. And Marlon, I'm sorry, what I'm about to say is probably going to get you flagged or something.
Then don't say it, because I don't want to get flagged or something. Why would you say that?
Fine, I'll leave that point out. There's another nation on this planet that operates very much like America, except for they support an apartheid system for the original indigenous population of the area. But because they chose to create their own nation on top of indigenous lands, they openly oppress and suppress, murder, and control the people who don't agree with them and don't share their particular religion. Now, I'm not going to say who it is, but I will say it is someone that America spends a lot of money supporting. Now,
ain't that the truth?
Now,
you can also find them in the Bible if you read it. But I'm just saying.
In that hypothetical nation that I'm referencing, they have two sides of a coin. They have a political system and they have a religious system. But what they do is they take their political system and they hide it behind a religious shroud so that they can then say, if you criticize our politics, you are criticizing our religion. And here in America, the same thing is being done. If you criticize the Christian nationalists, if you criticize the white nationalists, if you criticize the hyper conservative, if you criticize the Trumpists and the MAGA, they will say you are criticizing Christianity because they put Christianity on top of it like a shroud, but they do not support or uphold the ideals of that very same religion. Jesus does not appear in any aspect of the behaviors of the people who claim the faith constantly in these political arenas. It's just not there. Now, they can cite a lot of stuff from the Old Testament, but that right there betrays their motivation. The fact that they will invoke God, but they are very, very timid about invoking Jesus because they want you to focus on old when it's convenient, new when it's beneficial to them. So Tracy nailed it. It is all about power. And the same thing goes for democracy. Democracy was okay because we never had it. If you look at America, there has never truly been a democracy in America. We're prior to the last 2 or 3 years, we are in the closest version of democracy America has ever experienced. And with that expansion of actual democracy, the ruling classes realized they were suffering an erosion of power, an erosion of influence. So now democracy doesn't work for them anymore. So
Nope.
they'll find something else. And right now they're testing out, it's like a beta test. Or maybe we'll go with fascism, or maybe we'll go with an
Yep.
oligarchy. Or they're just spitballing right now. They don't know where they're gonna land. They just know that democracy ain't
Didn't
working
work
for
out. Yeah, it didn't work quite the way we thought. Dang. We got to start all